and today we continue with chapter 7. So Gidget is home. She's doing very well here in our home, and then chapter 7 is titled Heart Concerns. So as I mentioned in the previous videos, talking about the other excerpts from the chapters, there were different challenges along the way from adopting Gidget to getting her home. And one of the challenges was is that it was shared with me that Gidget wasn't spayed, and I agreed to adopt her even though she wasn't spayed, and agreed that I wouldn't put her through that surgery due to the fact I was told she had a weak heart. But that was all I was told, was that she had a weak heart, and what that entailed I wasn't quite sure. So after taking her to my veterinarian, he felt that Gidget's heart was perfectly fine. He did detect a murmur, and that was confirmed by another veterinarian at the clinic I go to. But yet I just couldn't rest with that information because I was told otherwise from the rescue organization that she came from. So I just want to say first of all, before I read the excerpt, this isn't a judgmental thing or about pointing fingers. This is probably a case of somewhere the information got mixed up along the way, and the outcome is good as we went through this. So the part I'm going to read to you was, my veterinarian saying there wasn't any issues with her heart. He was very concerned about me not spaying her because of the risk of pyometra in female dogs. I wanted to believe this was indeed the case, but I found it difficult to dismiss what Cheryl had said to me. Dr. Benner said that not spaying Gidget increased her risk of pyometra, an infection and inflammatory disorder of the uterus typically occurring in female dogs that haven't been spayed. Because it often goes undetected until it's too late. It can cause a painful death. He also said she had a higher risk of developing mammary tumors. Quite honestly, the risk of her developing pyometra is much higher than the risk of putting her under anesthesia, he said. I found myself torn as I struggled to make sense of this conflicting information. On one hand, there was a risk of pyometra, which I'd never heard of until now. On the other hand, I was still worried about the previous health information I'd been given, plus the agreement I'd made with Cheryl that I would not spay Gidget. I wanted to do the right thing for her, but both choices seemed to carry enormous risks. Finally, Dr. Benner said, Dr. Benner being my veterinarian, let me ask another vet to come in and listen to her heart. As I said, that was confirmed by a second veterinarian. And then after that, I was very confused. I said, why would the woman from the rescue tell me this about her heart if it isn't true? Dr. Benner said he didn't know, though he was honest with me and said, and told me I've heard many different rescue stories over the years, and sometimes they just don't always make sense. He suggested that to put my mind at ease, perhaps I could take Gidget to the UW of Madison Veterinary School, where they had specialists who trained in canine heart issues and could do a complete exam of Gidget's heart. I said, I think that sounds like a good plan, and I'll call the university when I get home. So as I suspected, it wasn't inexpensive, but I felt $500 was a small price to pay for the peace of mind of knowing Gidget's heart really was healthy. This knowledge would also help me make a more educated and sound decision as how to move forward. I also reached out via email to Cheryl, letting her know I was going to have Gidget's heart evaluated. I wanted to be upfront with her, and I was also hoping that perhaps she had other medical records for Gidget I wasn't aware of. So this would go back and forth with some conflicting information between the Gidget's previous veterinarians and my veterinarians here at home. But in the end, as you'll read in the chapter, there is a happy ending to that. And while I'll never know what the whole reasoning was behind that, I'm grateful, for the care Gidget received previous to coming to live with me. And then also, following what I felt was right, following my heart to make sure that her heart was truly healthy and well. So now that we have that out of the way, we will move to chapter 8 next time. And the obstacles continue, which you can tell by the um, title of this chapter, which is seizures. And while this is sounding, like we're facing one challenge after another, challenges always lead us to insight and discovery and evolving and growing into better human beings and helping our animals the best that we can. So we're going to carry on. And when I come back tomorrow, I will share an excerpt from Chapter 8, Seizures. All right. Thanks again so much for listening. See you tomorrow.